the whole thing right now is dirty boxing, dirty business. That's what it's looking like. They're not the good guys here. They paid him 10% of what we were paying him on our debut. I get credit for absolutely everything, but it's not quite true. A lot of these ideas are from our team, and we have a phenomenal team.
All right, guys, this is Crazy Kev here, and I'm here with the one, the only, Mr. President, Awesome himself. How we doing, my man?
I'm doing really well. I mean, it's been a very stressful 48 hours, but I'm turning it into a good time, right?
Yeah, no, you definitely are, man. And with that being said, man, you put out a tweet not too long ago, that you had a little bit of stuff going on with dirty boxing. You wanted some people to reach out. So here I am. I reached out to you. I mean, what's going on with these guys, man? Talk us a bit more about that.
Well, I mean, the whole thing right now is dirty boxing, dirty business. That's what it's looking like, and I'm really, really disappointed. So let me just explain what's happening here. About a month ago, I signed a very talented athlete that we like very much. His name's Anvar. He's from Uzbekistan. Great striker. We signed him exclusively to Karate Combat. Although he's older, he's 35 years old. In MMA, he didn't do so well. He's like 4-5. And on a 3-fight losing streak, he was finished all in the first round, I believe, the last 3 fights. So he's been doing really bad in MMA. And his coach reached out to me and was like, look, this guy has 150 kickboxing fights. He's a champion striker. We're putting him in MMA, and it's just not his thing. Like, it's just not. Like, no one can strike with this guy in the world, I promise you. And I was really reluctant on signing him, but I said, you know what? I love this coach. He's a great guy. I signed him for a great contract. We started him off with very good pay, especially considering, where he is right now. That being said, we're getting him ready for a fight in February. We signed him a month ago. And about maybe 4 or 5 days ago, I find out that Dirty Boxing has signed him to fight, for this event yesterday. And right away, I make some calls. I'm very close with Mike Perry. We're very good friends. We have a good relationship. So I make some calls. I'm like, guys, this can't happen. So I let everybody know, everyone involved, that this guy knows that he has a contract with us, And we really tried to find some solution with the promotion. Perry called me and is like, man, we really need this fight to happen. I only have a 7-fight card. I can't have this fight cancel. And I was telling Perry, like, man, it's an issue because we have an event February. I have him booked already. I want to put him against a guy in the top 5 of my division to see where he's at. This is a very important fight. I can't do this, but I didn't want to leave Perry, high and dry. So I actually drove to my gym, and I went during practice, and I asked everybody. I just screamed during practice. I'm like, who would fight tonight? And then right away, show of hands. So I offered them, I had like 2 or 3 different replacements for last night that would be willing to step up. And that was my solution. It was like, look, man, this guy's an exclusive contract. I have big plans for him already. Please respect our contract. I have a replacement for you, and you can have your show, and I can have my show. But instead, this is the crazy thing that happened. Instead, Maoki Kawa, who's the head of first round management, that really like obese guy. Yeah. So that guy calls me up, right? And this guy's a bully. It's known to combat sports world that this guy's a bully. He tries to push people around and push the smaller guy around. And I know this firsthand because 3 years ago, when I was a small time coach, okay, I just opened my gym, 3,000 square foot garage gym, little gym. He called me and he was bullying me. And he threatened that he was going to open up a gym right next to me, put me out of business. He threatened me that he was going to bring Yoel Romero and all his fighters, and they were going to jump me. He threatened some crazy. He even threatened that he would pay my fighters to leave my gym and sign them to his management. And it actually created a big problem in my gym. I lost half my team at the time, and a lot of them did sign with first round. But, I mean, at the time, I was a small coach, and I conceded to him, and I didn't say anything back. And it was very embarrassing. It was a 30-minute phone call that Maoki Kawa called me and bitched me out, bullied me, and I stayed quiet. And the strong, aggressive guy that I look like on socials, I bitched out. I didn't say anything because I was scared, and I was a new coach in the business. But now he tried to do it again, and I'm in a very different position 3 years later. Now I'm a solid guy. Now we're the top 5 organization on the planet. When it comes to pay, when it comes to viewership, it's definitely UFC, PFL, One, us, BKFC. Like we're the 5 powerhouses in the world right now. So I'm like, I'm not gonna let this guy bully me anymore. So he calls me and starts talking down to me, starts pushing me around, and starts threatening, oh, I'm gonna pull out all my fighters from your organization. I'm gonna do that, like crazy stuff, you know? And I'm like, dude, you're not going to do anything. I cannot give permission for this fight to happen. I still tried to be polite in the beginning. Then he starts with his threats. He starts with, oh, wait till I see you in person. I'm going to be with my fighters. I'm going to do this to you, that to you. And I told him, I will slap you just like Ali slapped you. I will slap you just as bad as Ali slapped you around. And then he went fucking off. But it felt so good to finally stand up to that bully. And what stinks is the casual fan doesn't know this. They don't know how dirty the combat sports business is. It is dirty. And the casual fan doesn't care. The casual fan just wants to see a fight and be entertained, but they don't know what's happening to fighters in the background. And men like Mauki Kawa, these guys they bully fighters, they push fighters around, they push promotions around, they push coaches around, and we just can't stand for it anymore. It's finally important that somebody stands out and speaks about it. I know Brian Butler has spoken about it before. Didn't Brian? I think Brian Butler had slapped him at an MMA event too, and then first round tried to jump him like a bunch of the fighters, and then Saba came in and protected him. It was a whole mess. Ali did it twice and got arrested for it. I don't know if you know that. Ali got arrested for slapping Mauki. Yeah, at the UFC. But it's like this is happening multiple times with the same person. And he just thinks he's a big shot that can push the little guys around. Thank God I'm not a little guy anymore and I can stand up for myself. But I know he's doing this with other people too. And at the end of the day, it hurts the fighters. Because let me tell you the craziest thing that you're going to be shocked about right now. The craziest thing. Some people might be able to argue because they don't know. They'll say, wait a minute, this fighter needed an opportunity and they gave them an opportunity to fight. Karate Combat's fight is until February. They give them an opportunity. Listen to this. You ready for this? They're not the good guys here. They paid him 10% of what we were paying him on our debut. Listen to me. I talked to Perry yesterday. They told me that they were paying him $1,000. He's set to make $10K on his debut with Karate Combat if he wins. Starting at $10K. 4 fights in 1 year, meaning he's going to make at least $50,000 to $60,000 on year 1 at Karate Combat. And he got convinced to do a fight for $1,000 at Dirty Boxing. When is Dirty Boxing's next event? I don't know. Will he be able to make $4,000 this year? Probably not. So they convinced a fighter who's a soldier. He's going to listen to the people around him. I need a fight. I need an opportunity. Okay, you just made $1,000. That $1,000 is going to disappear when you pay your rent this month. You could have made 50 G's. And most promotions, look, there are promotions out there that pay well, but you fight once a year or you fight once every couple of years. We know this happens all the time. Dude, you're about to make 50K as a fighter year 1 at 35 years old with a 4-5 record, being finished 3 times in a row in the first round. Come on. You just ruined this fighter's career at his age. And you didn't even know and the fighter doesn't even know. Because when he sees this podcast, he doesn't speak English. I hope he sees this. When he lays it down in front of himself, he'll be like, holy shit, I just lost 50K in 1 year for 1,000. And that's year 1. Year 2 would be more. Year 3 will be more. Year 4, you know what I mean? We have a future here. So it is what it is, man. I gave you a lot. You throw whatever you want back at me.
No, man, it's all good. I'm definitely glad you laid it all out on the line there for me. And, another thing about speaking about, only fighting like 1 time a year and everything, this is something you also mentioned in the past, is like 1 championship. But a lot of those guys are having so many issues. I mean, what is going on with that organization, man?
Oh, my God, man. So there's a mess going on because I don't like – look, I came into this position only 13 months ago. You know what I mean? So I just got this position. And I was minding my own business, having a good time, trying to do something positive for the fight community. And then I start getting hit up by all these different people about the corrupt business practices that are going on. 1 championship is one of them. You're talking about, and I don't want to say the wrong names, I don't want to say this wrong, but there are fighters that haven't fought for years in their prime. They fight 1 time every 2 years, and for nothing. And it's like, I don't understand how you're doing this to fighters in their prime. I know their reasoning. It's a very selfish reasoning because they want a huge roster, right? To potentially sell to investors and show how powerful their roster is. That's probably their reasoning, but it hurts the athlete because all these and finally this war on one started and it's given the athletes courage to start speaking out little by little. Most of them can't because they can get in big trouble, right? But some of them are gaining the courage. And then as soon as the contract expires, like the gentleman that fought in the UFC just now, the former one champion, Riedler,
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, he came out and he said advice to anybody in the future that wants to sign with one, don't do it. So now finally people are talking about it. But it sucks because again, the casual fan doesn't know what happens in the background. So sometimes they criticize me. They're like, oh, he's going off on one. He should just focus on himself. But they don't know that one champion fighters are in my DMs and they're like, please talk about this. Please help me. Please, 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 please. And what happens is, look, I posted Buchecha. He didn't compete in I don't know how long. And then guess what? He had a match within 2 days of my post. I posted Panpayek, who didn't have a match in like 2 years or something. And then he had a fight immediately after I post. Like, come on, man. It's not a coincidence that I bring light to some of this stuff and then they get active. The whole point is this. I don't want one championship to be destroyed. I don't want dirty boxing to be non-existent. It's very important for fighters to have options. The more organizations out there, the better. I'm a coach also, so I want opportunities for my guys. Fighters first. I want all promotions to be out there, but we have to do good business. And right now, good business is not being done in combat sports. Fighters are being exploited. Fighters are being screwed over and guided improperly, just like we had Anvar right now that fought for $1,000 and gave up 50K. And it's madness. It's madness, dude. It's really messed up, you know?
Yeah, yeah. That's definitely messed up, man. I definitely agree with you. I'm definitely glad you got a lot of that off your chest. But some good news though, man. I mean, is you guys just signed Desipane and he's making his debut soon.
I love this
Let's
guy,
talk about
man.
that, man. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
who's he gonna be facing? I mean, have you even thought about
Oh,
that? I
oh,
mean, with the
oh,
class?
oh, oh, this is awesome. I should have it signed by today.
Oh,
And when
okay.
I announce it tomorrow, yeah, I'll just say it. Okay, look, it's not signed yet. It should be signed today. Um, I don't want to say the name yet, but I'll say this. Um, Robelis is 6'7". The opponent he's fighting is 6'11",
Oh, wow. Okay.
and is I believe an 18-3 kickboxer. So it's not like a chump rollover chump. It's a guy that's much taller, much longer, and has a substantial credential career in kickboxing. So it's going to be a fun one, man. It's going to be a big fight.
Nice. Very nice. And this is gonna be announced tomorrow, you said?
Yeah, it should be. I think it should be signed today. Maybe it's already signed, and then we'll get the posters out tomorrow. We'll start posting everything. Cosmo Alexander's fighting too, which was a really hard one to get done, but thank God he escaped his one contract. I spoke with his manager Ali, and we love each other very much. We do very close business with each other. He's a big supporter, so he trusts me with his athletes. So he sent Cosmo over to us, and I have a big feeling Cosmo's going to have a great career with us. Like just a perfect way to end his legendary career already.
Yeah, yeah, no, 100%. I definitely think that's another fun signing as well too. And with Despain now, I mean, him being a lot bigger than Sam Alvey. I mean, what's kind of the future with Karate Combat's heavyweight division?
So I'll tell you this, man. The former administration at Karate Combat, they were very traditional point fighters, okay? And because of that, they didn't quite understand the mainstream combat sports world. They understood, these tournament point fighting world. And because of that, the dynamics in Karate Combat were very different before than it is now. So they called the 205 division the heavyweight division. But that's actually a light heavyweight division for the rest of us in this world, like for everyone mainstream, right? So right away when I signed Robelis, Sam Alvey called me and he's like, I want that fight. And I'm like, yo, like this guy's 6'7", cuts to 265. I can't give you this fight. You weighed in 203 on your last fight. Like I can't like I don't feel comfortable doing this. He's like, no, I want it. I want it. He's a warrior. I said, look, man, in all honesty, with all respect, this is gonna have to become the light heavyweight division, and we're gonna have a real heavyweight division. And it's just a way to fit into the nomenclature that's used by the rest of the world, and that way it's understood amongst everyone. I love being different, But when we start changing names of weight classes, it's going to start getting really confusing, especially for like the casual fans, right? So Sam Alvey will be a light heavyweight champion, and then heavyweight division will open up for the first time ever in our December card. Sam Alvey asked me though if he wins his next fight, if he can move up and try to become double champion, win the heavyweight, the real heavyweight title, right? Uh, I said, okay, if you win your next fight, we'll make it happen. But it doesn't seem like it makes sense. But sure, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay. That would definitely be interesting if he did move up and face Des Payne or even his opponent. And with that being said, now with this fight being the first fight in the new heavyweight division, is this going to be like a title fight? I mean, how's this going to work?
No, I think one major mistake that was made in karate combat in the past was the titles were given out too fast. And what ended up happening was, even right now, there's the rosters being flipped, the rankings are being flipped on its head because you have a champion. We have one champion that's 2-0, and then basically when someone fights once, they're a contender. And it's kind of absurd. You know what I mean? That's not how it should be. Like, we need to build these people up to a world championship title shot where we know they're world class, where they've proven themselves to be world class. So I don't think it can be a debut into a world title fight. I think there needs to be a few fights done. And to be honest, what I'm really looking forward to, what I'm trying to make happen, we've been in talks with Tyrone Spong for a while. I really want Tyrone Spong to finally debut. And it would be amazing if they win and people are doing well and however it works out. If Robelis and Tyrone Spong ever fight for the Karate Combat Heavyweight World Championship, what a match that would be. I feel like that would just explode the world. Like, that would be just this insane title fight, you know? So who knows how it's going to work out, but we need to take our time and really build the divisions and have real world-class fighters.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%, man. I definitely agree with you there. And when it comes to your roster and stuff, is there maybe any other fighters from maybe some other organizations maybe you wish you could sign, like maybe like some dream signings or something like that maybe you can think of?
So yes, slowly, as the year's progressing, we're trying to fill up the different weight classes. We have certain missions. So the beginning of the year, we were filling up the lighter weights, like the bantam weights, the light weights. Now we're getting to the heavyweights, the welter, the middleweight, the heavyweights. So we're trying to fill up the divisions. Now that the divisions are pretty full with very talented guys, now we're really focusing on regions. Like, okay, we want to get Latin America, we want to get American fighters, we want Middle Eastern fighters, we want the Dutch kickboxers. Finally, we had the Thai invasion, right? So now we can really solidify ourselves like, hey, we have top strikers from around the globe, and that's a very big mission for us. And I think we've been accomplishing it now. We have a really good roster from across the planet.
Yeah, no, you guys definitely do 100%. And speaking about you guys have a good roster. You also have some pretty cool venues and stuff too. I mean, is there any dream locations on maybe where you'd like to go in the future as well?
So one thing I'll say, I'll touch on too. I think the next mission, by the way, since we're expanding to Asia, we signed some great ties. We want to sign some great Chinese fighters. We have an event in Shanghai in January that we're locking in, and we're going to do China versus Japan. So we're trying to get some talented Chinese fighters, talented Japanese fighters, and now that leads into your question about dream locations. How in the world has Karate Combat not been to Japan? Like,
Yeah,
I don't know how. It needs to go to Japan, and it needs to go. I mean, dude, Tokyo, Okinawa, where karate started, like, this would be a dream. And oh my God, I got chills right now because this got me so excited. So one thing is, man, like, I've only been in this position 13 months. So I still think like a coach a lot, like when I'm trying to help these fighters. I still think like a fan. One thing that just totally fanboyed. The CEO of K1 followed me on Twitter, and then the K1 official account followed me, and I flipped out, man. That was just like a dream because I remember being in middle school watching K1, and it was just like the greatest strikers on the planet was K1. There was no argument. It was like, if you want to be the best, consider the best striker on the planet, it was K1. And they disappeared for a long time, and now they're kind of reviving. It would be a dream of mine to go over there, do something partnered with K1, have a karate combat in Japan. I mean, that's the dream. I would love to do that, and hopefully this is a start of a relationship with them, that I could evolve.
Yeah, no, well, definitely, man. That would definitely be really, really cool. I definitely think those would be some pretty sweet spots. And another thing I think is really interesting about you is not only do you have like karate combat, but you also have this influencer fighting league as well too. I was actually offered to fight on that card. I believe the Salt Lake card. I just got shoulder surgery, so I couldn't make it to that one. I was going to be against UFC Alien actually. So
No way. Okay.
yeah, so
Okay. Nice.
opponent, but I couldn't do it because I got shoulder surgery, so I was still out a couple more months. So Zach took my place, but yeah. So, anyways, with that league, I mean, how did that kind of come about? Whose idea was that? Talk us a little bit more about that.
So I'll say this, I get credit for absolutely everything, but it's not quite true. A lot of these ideas are from our team, and we have a phenomenal team. So there's a gentleman involved with Karate Combat named Only LARPing. Have you
Yeah.
seen him on
Okay.
Twitter?
Yeah. Of
And
course.
Only LARPing is an absolute genius, man. He pushes my creative boundaries so much, and he really makes me push the envelope too. Like he really he wants me to feel like he told me the other day. He's like, if you don't feel like you're gonna be fired every single day, then we didn't hire you for the right thing. Like I want you to be crazy. I want you to push the boundaries. I want you to test the waters. And his idea with the IFC, and he started working with George Crypto R Us, right? So his idea with the IFC was to bring these crypto influencers in, and just influencers in general at this point, to compete under this rule set, because a lot of people are really excited to test themselves, right? They want to try this out and fight in front of an audience, and it's a good way to bring awareness to karate combat. The influencers obviously bring a lot of eyes, and that helps the karate combat fighters. And obviously, the influencers are really excited to fight on such a big production. So it's kind of good for everybody.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good for everybody, man. I definitely enjoy watching that as well too. I think it's a lot of fun. I think that has honestly a ton of potential as well too. And speaking about things that used to be crazy, man. I mean, back in the days, you used to rock two Rolexes on your wrist and stuff, man. Talk us a little bit more about that, man.
So what happened is, when I first opened my gym, there were a lot of rumors around,
Yeah,
like who I was and all this stuff. And there was this ridiculous rumor that like I came from oil money, right? And my dad pays all my fighters to train with me, that I don't actually know martial arts, that I pay fighters to train at my gym and they win, and then I take credit for it. That was the rumor when I first opened. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I want them to keep talking about me. So instead of like denying it and being salty about it, I'll just pretend it's real. So I have a friend that owns a wholesale jewelry exchange. His father does, actually. So I would go and borrow jewelry. I would borrow, like, put $100,000 of chains on my neck and put two Rolexes on a wrist, wear spikes on my shoes. I had a car luxury sponsor. I would pretend I owned a Lambo. And I just did all of this to get them even more angry. I was trying to be as obnoxious as possible. I didn't actually think two Rolexes looked good on my wrist. I just did it to like piss them off because I knew they would talk about it. And so I would just be as obnoxious as possible. And it worked so well because nonstop, these coaches would talk about us, and it would bring more light to our fights. And then it was our job to win, right? And then we won. And we won in spectacular fashion. So we grew at a crazy rate. And I mean, in all honesty, I don't think any team in history can say a coach has gone in 4 years to become combat sports president of a top 5 league in the world. It's just that's never happened in history. And the fighters and I are doing something very special here. We brand our gym very uniquely, but I think it's working, and then we do our own thing.
yeah, no, you definitely do, man. I definitely respect it as well too. And another thing I thought was curious, that I'm curious about as well too, is from your Ariel Hawani interview, you mentioned that you don't drink water. Are you still not drinking water at all?
Ah, shit. I'm drinking
Uh
coffee right now.
oh.
Yeah, so yeah, man. Obviously, I make a lot of really crazy jokes. So it's not that some people misconstrued it. They're like, "Oh, he doesn't believe in drinking water. He's insane." Like, no, 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 no. Do not do what I do. Do
Yeah.
not do what I do. Like I guess I'm a caffeine addict, right? Like, look, I have a coffee in my hands and I have another one waiting for me. So, I mean, I'm on go. I sleep 5 hours a day. I work all day long, maybe 80, 90 hours a week. My wife, she's an attorney. She works 80, 90 hours a week. Our life is work. You should drink water. Everyone go drink water. And I hope to become disciplined and start drinking water soon. But for now, it's coffee all day.
Yeah, you were on the grind all the time, man. That's crazy, man. Wow,
Yeah,
good for you. No, man, I
that's
definitely
crazy.
love it. Yeah.
It's
No.
very ironic you're saying that when I have 2 cups of coffee in front of me. Super funny.
Yeah.
Super
No.
funny.
100%. Now, with you, not only being a promoter, I mean, you're also a coach as well, too, man. I mean, talk to us a bit more about some of your favorite memories being a coach.
I think my favorite memories, what's funny is most of my favorite memories are this year. And the reason why is although I always make social media look fun and I always want it to look fun, starting off was really hard because I was a very young coach. I was like 28 years old and nobody believed in me. I never made it to the UFC. I had a phenomenal amateur career. I was kickboxing world champ, all this stuff, but I never made it to the UFC. So how could I have the credibility to train world class fighters? I had zero credibility, and it was really tough because all these other gyms would really try to roast us, and dude, they would kind of try to bully us, and that's when I created myself as the bad guy. I accepted the role. I'm like, okay, to these guys, they're never going to give me credibility, so might as well make them talk more about me. And if it's negative, it's negative. So I just created this crazy brand. But then by bringing all that viewership, by going viral, we were the most viral team on the planet, the most viral MMA team on the planet within like 8, 9 months. Joe Rogan started following us. All these guys started following us and talking about us. We had to win, or else you're just a viral loser, right? I don't want to be a famous loser. So like we got to be famous winners. So we really had to back it up, and it was a lot of hard work. Like I'm talking about, I would download all these instructionals, buy all these instructionals on BJJ Fanatics, all this stuff, keep my information updated. I would watch so many hours of film, study, and really stay up to date so that our results would also back up all the talk. And it really did. And finally, I'll never forget this, man. This is really sentimental to me because when I first started off, they were like, oh, they're just an amateur team. Then we went into UFC Fight Pass. We were in Titan FC, and my guys went undefeated on year one, and they started doing really well. And they're like, those fights are bullshit. He bought Titan, that's why he's winning there. They'll never do that elsewhere. Then we went to Combate Global, and we did the same thing. We started killing it in Combate. We have like a 47-5 record in Combate, something insane, right? And they're like, oh no, he owns a percentage of Combate too. They'll never do that in the UFC. And now we're like 14-3 in the UFC with 7 performance of the night bonuses. It's like they can't say anything anymore. We're beating the number one contenders. We have world champions. Look, one of our guys just beat a top guy in the world at Karate Combat. Amazing performance. You can't deny it. It was a phenomenal performance. Roy Echeverria right now beat the number 7 guy in the country and won the APFC title. He's 10-2. We've beaten a couple guys in the top 5 in the country this year too. Our UFC wins, we have 2 people that are ranked now in the top like 11 or 12, something like that. It's going good. It's going good. We can't be denied anymore. So no one's really saying anything bad about Goat Shed anymore. I don't know if it's because they want a job for Karate Combat or if because we've proven them wrong. But either way, this year's my favorite year because I feel like we've solidified ourselves as a real team with real success that no one can deny.
Yeah, no, 100%. You guys definitely been killing it, man. I remember you on the Dana White Contender Series and everything, and yeah, it was awesome to see you on there and seeing your guy go out there with a big win. And another thing I was curious about is you mentioned you having the most viral gym. I mean, what was maybe some of your favorite viral videos that came from that gym?
Wow, that's the most viral videos were always like the most controversial moments, like they were like the most viral moments were usually moments that you can't be proud of, but I thought they were hilarious, for me. So
Right.
let me think of the most appropriate one. Oh, this one's phenomenal. The most appropriate one was one of my athletes had a crazy guillotine on a guy, and the guy twisted around and backflipped outside of this guillotine. He almost broke his neck doing it, but it was an unbelievable escape, crazy scramble. And that one must have got like 70, 80 million views. It was remarkable. And then another very sentimental moment was one of our fighters fought 3 times in one night, $100,000 tournament for Combate Global. And he was dropped 3 times in the first fight of the first round. And he still ended up winning the whole thing, 3 fights in one night with his face destroyed, and came out. And it was a very emotional moment. That one also got like another 20, 30 million views. But yeah, we just have phenomenal fun moments in the gym. A lot of controversial, a lot old school guys don't like, but it's a positive environment. The Goat Shed environment is very unique, and anybody that's with us over there is really, really happy and positive. They feel that family love at Goat Shed.
Yeah, that's definitely pretty cool. I forgot about that backflip video being a part of your gym. That's actually how I saw it, and I came across your gym. So that's pretty funny that you brought that one up at all the things you could have said. And like I mentioned to you before the interview, man, is I'm a Taekwondo instructor. I've been teaching for 6 years now, and I've been training since I was 5 years old. So I love Taekwondo and love what I do. And with all the guys that got at my gym, what advice would you give to them to keep on coming into the gym and to get better and better every day?
I would say, one thing that's really cool, I tell my fighters this all the time, is no matter what we're feeling, that emotion should funnel us back into our work, back into our goals. So, for instance, if I'm really excited and happy after a win, the first thing I want to do is go back to the gym and coach. If I'm really sad after a loss, the first thing I want to do is go back to the gym and coach so we don't lose again. Basically what I'm trying to say is no matter what I feel, how tired or angry or sad or happy I am, it all funnels me back into my training and I use it as motivation to continue my growth. So as a student, no matter what you feel, if you're tired, sore, hurt, angry, sad, don't let that take you away from your practice because martial arts is such a positive thing for you and keeping that on your daily routine is such a healthy thing.
Yeah, no, it definitely is, man. And like I said, it's been an awesome talking to you. Like I said, I love karate combat. I love where it's going, and I definitely appreciate what you've been doing for it. And with that being said, man, I mean, what's maybe your final message out there for the fans watching this video?
I guess I would say, sometimes we're all watching combat sports and we just watch it as the show, but let's care about these fighters and what happens behind the scenes, not just the fights. Obviously, we want these fighters to fight and perform and entertain us, but let's also care about how they're treated and make sure that business is done cleanly so we can evolve this sport. I think that would be the main message for this podcast.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's an awesome message. And like I said, it's been awesome talking to you. And best of luck with everything you got going on with karate combat. And I'm looking forward to what's next with you.
Thank you, man. See you.
All right, man. See you later. Best of luck with you. Thank you again.